Morning, welcome to Improved Garage. So today we're going to be talking about action products. And I actually have a dirty car for once. There's a dirty car behind me. We can actually clean a car that is actually dirty on my channel. Actually, the Mini has a bunch of bug crap all over it too. So that one's kind of dirty too. I got two dirty cars. Wow. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about action products, and you might have seen these on Instagram ads. They're they're really cheap actually, which is kind of what drew me to trying them out and seeing if they were any good. I thought that other people might be interested in them too, just from the ads and things like that. So Action Products line has a couple different products. This is their Cherry Wash and Wax. This is their Graphene Wash, pineapple scent. This is their Hyper Foam Soap, Carnauba infused high foaming suds, signature scent. Glass cleaner, tire shine, wheel cleaner. Now, as you can tell, I've already tried some of these, so I cheated a little bit. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to clean the Passport using the Action products. So first, we're going to start off with wheel and tire cleaner, like we always do. I have a bucket behind me with water in it, and I have a Rag Company mitt. This is the new, it's a Ghost bucket. They call it the Ghost bucket, but basically it's a food grade NSF 22 liter bucket that I'm playing around with. I got it from Detail Division, shout out to Dan, and the Carbon Collective tool tray. So because this car is dirty, like actual dirty, I'm gonna rinse the wheels off first. So first things first, we're gonna rinse off the excess grime. Then we are going to apply the wheel and tire cleaner. It says, rinse surface with high pressure spray, apply product only to shady and cool surfaces. Do not allow the product to dry on surfaces. For lighter cleaning, you can dilute 2 to 1. So the sprayer gives out a lot of product, which means that you kind of have to move as you're spraying it, maybe a little bit more than you normally would. You do go through a lot of product that way, in my opinion, maybe a little bit more than you need to. You could see I've done 2 tires with this, and I'm down to about 2/3 of the bottle, something thereabouts. Like I said, it is relatively inexpensive. As you can see, it's already turning brown working at cleaning that tire. Remember, this is a tire and wheel cleaner. We're not getting any purple, so no indications of like a brake dust breakdown or anything like that that's happening, but obviously we can see a lot of dirt and debris dripping off of these tires. Today we're going to be using the Easy Detail brush. I picked this up from Obsessed Garage. There are other places that sell it as well, but he's who I found out about it from. We can see that the brush is obviously picking up a lot of dirt. Take a look. Next, we're going to foam the car. So here I have, this is an MJJC Foam Cannon S. It's just the one that happens to be empty right now. I'm gonna fill it right around halfway with water. And then we're going to add some of we'll start off with the pink soap in this one. So we've got about 75 milliliters there. Normally I do like 150 with a full cannon for most of my other soaps. So I'll shake this up a bit, and then we will see how this works. So there we are. So because the car is dirty, I'm actually going to, we'll do like a pre-foam, rinse, and then we'll foam it a second time. So this will be the first foam. about 250 milliliters. I kind of went very quickly over this. So we're gonna let this sit for a minute. We're going to rinse it off, and then we'll go from there. All right, so now that we've done our pre-wash, we're going to do a second soap. And I'm thinking, because we have 3 soaps, I might just wash 3 cars. And that would allow us to get through all of the Action products in one video. Because I know everybody wants me to go on to Labro Cosmetica, and they just have a lot of products. So they will be next. I might try to stick a little bit of Phoenix EOD in there because they were nice enough to send me their stuff to try. So now we're just going to dry it, and then we'll try out the tire dressing. Here's our clean tire. We're going to try to use the Action Products Tire Shine. I have not used this yet. So it says, shake well, apply to a clean and dry tire. Tire Shine can either be sprayed directly on the tire or wiped with a sponge. Wipe off excess dressing after allowing the Tire Shine to penetrate the surface. So, standard sprayer, it has stream and spray. Let's use the spray functionality. So we'll, okay. Rub that in. Spraying on the tire, you're gonna end up with a mess like I did. So let's clean up that mess. So I think you're better off spraying on the sponge, because the sprayer doesn't have the most control. It's on or it's off, and that's pretty much all you get. So let's give this a minute to dry, and then we will clean it off. You can see the tire dressing is it's pretty thin. I don't love thin tire dressings. You end up with like dark spots on like edges, like this line right here, or on the top side of this line, for example. But if we take a towel when we're done and go over it fairly well, hopefully we can alleviate some of that. So there we are. I think it looks good. It's a nice like matte finish. Not very shiny, not very glossy. I don't like shiny or glossy, so I think that it works. Yeah, looks pretty good. So let's check out the glass cleaner. This is the 2024 Mini Cooper Clubman. I have some road grime on the car, a couple 100 miles of driving it, some bug guts and splatter, and just various normal road things. I'm using a Rag Company Dry Me a River towel, which is a waffle weave pattern, and we're going to go over it once to try to pull off all of the heavy, and then we'll do it a second time in order to just get that streak-free finish. The glass cleaner works fairly well. It doesn't smell fantastic, but it also doesn't smell bad. It actually kind of reminds me of Chemical Guys makes a glass cleaner that is green. I forget the name of it, but it worked pretty well. And this reminds me a lot of that. The sprayer, again, is one of those things where it just kind of spurts it out and it dribbles when you let go of the sprayer. So it's not the best in terms of control, but it does do its job and it works effectively. You just don't happen to have a lot of control over how much product you're putting on the car. It doesn't really break down bugs, but it does allow you to remove them. I did have to pick at or rub at some of the bug splatters and heavier stains a little bit harder than I would normally like to, but the product is effective and did work well. Next, to try the Hyper Foam, we are going to be washing our 2020 SLC 300. This car is pretty clean to begin with. I've got a soap cannon that is filled with 500 milliliters of product plus water. The product is about 75 milliliters. The rest of it is water, similar to how I mixed up the pink soap to begin with. Again, we found good foaming action. We see that the foam is thick, shaving cream thick, good drips. It looks really good. It doesn't appear, again, to be breaking down dirt, more to be providing lubrication for you to use a wash mitt or other type of wash media to provide mechanical cleaning of the vehicle. Finally, on my 2016 Mini Cooper, we're going to be testing out the Graphene wash. So again, same mixture, about 75 milliliters of soap, the rest with water, 500 milliliters total. I'm using the same foam cannon, MJJC Foam Cannon S. The soap is coming out thick. You can see how it looks on the car. Obviously, again, shaving cream thickness, great drips, not a lot of color breakdown, degradation of, bugs and dirt, but more of a lubrication for you to do mechanical cleaning. All right, so we were able to go through the entire Action Products brand in one day. Awesome. So we started off with the tire and wheel cleaner. I found this to actually work well. You could see the tires turn brown almost immediately. It was definitely attacking the dirt that was left on them even after rinsing the tires off before using it. It was definitely an effective product. I find that the only bad part about this, honestly, is the sprayer. The sprayer is really cheap. It only has one adjustment. Basically, it's stream or spray. That's really it. And I find that it lets too much product out, and it's not really very controllable. So you end up going through a massive amount of product. This is what I used on just 2 tires and wheels. Next, we ended up using the soap. Now, I will say with the soaps, I don't really understand why there are 3 of them. This first one is Cherry Wash and Wax. So this smells like cherry. Now, when I say it smells like cherry, what I mean is if you squeeze it in front of your face, it smells like cherry. But it's not really as in your face as many of the other soaps that I've used in the past are. Like GFX, GSF, Shampoo Plus, etc. You know, some of these soaps that have a really good aroma and a really good experience working with them, this is more reserved. If you specifically smell it, it smells good, but you don't really notice it as you're using it. So it's just something to note. This is a cherry soap, but I didn't really notice the cherry while I was using it. Otherwise, it worked well. It is a wash and wax. I don't typically like products that are ands, wash and wax, wash and whatever. Like, I prefer a wash and a wax, and those being separate products. But if you're marketing it to every man, a lot of people would prefer an and product, a wash and wax, something that they wash their car with, they walk away, the car is clean, and it's slick. I found it left a minor amount of slickness behind, nothing to write home about. I didn't have any water spotting issues, even on a gray vehicle in direct sunlight. Next, we use the tire shine. I like the finish of the tire shine. It's a nice matte finish. Again, the detractor here is the sprayer. When you're spraying it, it lets a lot of product out. It's not easy to control, and you end up with a lot of dribbles. So this is something where you really need to spray it onto an applicator, use the applicator to apply it. That's perfectly fine. Otherwise, I found that it worked well. It is a little runny for my taste, to be honest with you. Again, that goes back to the applicator. If you're putting it on an applicator, the runniness probably doesn't matter. But I found that runny products tend to pool in certain areas, like the logos or bars or areas of the tire that might have flat spots. And then you end up with these dark and light spots over time. Next, we tested the glass cleaner. Again, this worked fairly well. I did it on the windshield of the Mini Cooper. It had some bugs on it. I didn't find that it attacked the bugs. I found that I still had to put some elbow grease into removing those bugs. I found that it was easy to remove. I don't have streaks left behind. I did a couple sprays, a wipe with a towel, flipped the towel over to a dry side, wiped it a second time. I was good to go. It honestly reminds me a lot of, Chemical Guys makes like 15 glass cleaners, but one of them that they have is green. And that one works fairly well. That was always my favorite of their glass cleaners. It reminded me a lot of that. Again, it's got a good smell. It works fairly well. It is tint safe, maybe used on chrome, it actually says. Ammonia free, pleasant but subtle fragrance. I would say that that is an accurate description of how the product works. So this is a good product. It worked fairly well. I don't think that it's a game changer in any way. I think that I still prefer the Koch Chemi Blue product or Built Handler's new Traceless. I like those products a little bit better, and I haven't done a test of Traceless on camera, but it's a reasonable product. I could pick this up instead of Stoner Invisible Glass and be perfectly fine with it. Next, we washed the Mercedes-Benz, and for that one we used Hyperfoam soap. So now we're getting into this whole, like, why are there 3 soaps conversation. So this soap is formulated with premium grade carnauba wax. So it is a wash and wax. Now this one has a different scent to it. It's more of a manly, cologne-y type of scent. Kind of like an aftershave or a cologne. I don't think that it's bad. Again, I don't think that it's strong. It wasn't overpowering. It wasn't as strong as the Purist products that I tested previously, but it worked, again, fairly well, left reasonable slickness on the car, minor amount of protection. The car is coated. The suds had no problem sticking to the car that is coated. I had good foaming action. Everything worked really well. But again, it's just, you know, it's really nothing to write home about. It was a moderate level product. So something that I could definitely continue to use. It's not something I'm throwing in the trash. But it's, you know, not my new go-to, if that makes sense. Last but not least, we tested the Graphene wash, pineapple scent. Again, this has a pineapple scent if you smell it out of the bottle. I didn't notice the pineapple scent when I was spraying it. It is the perfect soap for removing harmful contaminants from the road. Great for maintenance washes. Use this soap to boost any ceramic or graphene coating. Enjoy a subtle pineapple scent while effortlessly mitting over the surface. So again, worked fairly well. Nothing to write home about. I didn't really notice the scent, either positively or negatively. You know, it's just fine. So in summary, I think the lineup is perfectly fine. It works fairly well. It's a very simple lineup. You know, they have a wheel and tire cleaner, they have a tire dressing / trim dressing, they have a glass cleaner, and 3 soaps. I don't understand why you would have 3 soaps. That's the part that I just don't get. And it takes me back to that whole Chemical Guys argument. And I think that I need to do a whole video on Chemical Guys one day. But you know, you walk into a Chemical Guys detail garage, which is what they call their stores, and there's 30 soaps on the wall, but they're all the same. They just have different scents. And it's like, why have 3 soaps if they're all the same soap with a different scent? They're all a wash and wax. This one has graphene in it. This one has carnauba. This just says wash and wax. Well, wax to me is carnauba, typically. So I would assume that this also contains some carnauba in it. But like realistically, if you have 3 products and they're all a wash and wax, it doesn't make sense to me. At least Chemical Guys does happen to have a, you know, a citrus-based wash that is more of a decon wash, and they have a wash and wax or a wash only. Like I used to like Honeydew Snow Foam, which was like a pH neutral foam, and then they also had some that had waxes in them and some that did not. So it was like, okay, well, they might make 10 different soaps that are all the same thing, but at least they have 1 or 2 that are not. And it's like, if you're only going to have 3 soaps as a brand, why wouldn't you have one that is more of a decon soap, one that is a wash and wax, and one that is just a wash, or something along those lines? Like, have them be different. Kosh Chemie makes a bunch of different soaps, but every one is different. Nano Magic has wax in it, and Active Foam is a like a touchless type of product. And then they have SFN, which is more for like drive-through car washes. And they have GSF, which is a normal one, and GFX is the normal one but with a different scent. And you know, so they have all these different soaps, but they all have a different purpose. You know, so like it just it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why you would make a line and just have 6 products, but 3 of them be incredibly similar to each other. But otherwise, they all worked fine. I used a reasonable amount of product. I used like 75 ml of soap in about 500 ml of water. I had good foaming action. I didn't have any problems with my foam cannon getting clogged up or anything. I did find that when the foam cannon was left to sit for a while, it did kind of fall out of suspension and required it to be shaken. So you can see that in the Mercedes-Benz video with the Hyperfoam. I left that foam cannon full for a little while, and it just kind of started to separate until I shook it up. You know, I wish the tire shine was a little bit thicker. That's more of a personal preference. The product actually worked just fine. I liked the tire and wheel cleaner. I feel though, again, with the sprayer being how it is, that the packaging could improve the product quite a bit more. They do also say on this, and I didn't touch on it, but they do say that you can dilute the solution 2 to 1 or more depending on soil conditions. So I've been treating this all as ready-to-use products because they come in a bottle with a sprayer, so they're supposed to be a ready-to-use product. But it is possible that you could dilute this a little bit further and you can get more out of it. And I wonder what the performance would actually be like on that. I might test that at a future date. Just top that bottle off with water and see how it works. That would be 1 to 1 instead of 2 to 1. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Next, we're going to try to dig into Labro Cosmetica. I might try to sprinkle a little bit of Phoenix EOD in there because Phoenix EOD was gracious enough to send me their products to test without charging me, while Labro Cosmetica, I bought everything that's there. So I know that everybody wants to see Labro, but I think that I should get to Phoenix at some point soon because of, you know, they're graciously sending me their products to test. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Have a great day.